Welcome guys to another video by myself, Blitz. Right here today we've got the countdowns from numbers 20 to 11 for FIFA 17's rating players, the new ones. Now I'm not going to go through the previous ones because I haven't done any of the previous videos on the numbers from 50 down to 21, but what I will be doing today is numbers 20 to 11, and we're going to have a close look at the contenders of the cards that we have. And if you want to leave your views and your comments, please leave it down in the like and the comment section down on the page. Okay, first one we've got up on the page today here is Pepe from Real Madrid, and just based on last year's card to this year's card, there's a big difference in terms of physical, definitely in the pace area. I felt he's actually slightly quicker, and in fact on last year's card, but comparing his card for this year, he's actually slower, which I don't believe. Passing, he's gone down a couple. You know, I think overall on my card, I mean, I like Pepe personally on FIFA 16. I think he's a good card, but I think the rating is a little bit sky high, if I'm honest with you. 84 on FIFA 16 now, 88. I'm not too sure what EA's sort of plan behind this, but I'm not really happy the fact he's actually gone up to an 88, but we will find out what is in store on that one. Next card along is Higuain. He's now just moved to Juventus from Napoli. Based again from last year's card, he was an 84, now he's in 88, so that's another big jump there. But he did have a good season, so I probably could meet him halfway. His pace seems to be the same, dribbling's up a notch by 1, his shots now up by 3, physical on the ball was 71, now 75, and the pass is still the same. In terms of his weak foot, the weak foot's definitely, what was he on last year's one? Last year's one, he was a weak foot was a 4, and it's the same. So there's no difference in skill, weak foot there, and skill moves. They're more or less the same. So that's Higuain's card. I'm not a massive fan of Higuain's card personally. But you just never know. Maybe the card may feel different, maybe on this year. But the last couple of FIFAs where I've been playing Ultimate Team, I've noticed that the card's slightly different. But here we go. The next card along here is Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, obviously, as you know, if you don't know, you should know by now, moved from Juventus to Manchester United. One of the things that stood out for me when I looked at this card was actually his skill moves. He's actually a 5 skill moves. That is absolutely out of this world. On last year's card, there was a big difference there. He was a 4 skill moves and 4-star weak foot. The weak foot, he's still got the same, but he's got 5 on this year's card. And if you compare his card up against last year's one, in terms of physical, it's actually down by 1, which is a bit worrying there. I don't know why they've done that. Don't know if that's because of the season he had. I couldn't tell you. In terms of defending, that's also come down a lot by a couple. Dribbling is gone up by 1, so they've made him more of a more on the ball. Passing is up by 1. His shots the same and his pass the same. Don't know about that. Overall rating for his card, 88. That's probably a true reflection to that. I'd probably give him an 88. So that's probably the first genuine card so far that I would agree that FIFA have done. Moving up next is Antoine Griezmann from Atletico Madrid. As you remember, last season he now was converted into a striker card, and comparing his rating of last year's card, 83, now in an 88, so that's a massive jump. I don't understand why that is, but he is now a 88 rated card. And then if you compare his cards to last year, dribbling 87 now, so that's now up by 3. Pace is up by 1. Shooting is up by 4. That's crazy. But Griezmann had did have a good season. But I mean, don't listen to my thoughts on this, because obviously we're basing it on players' season from last year. This is what I would normally do, but I don't know how EA's grading the new rating card, so there must be a little myth behind this, but we will find that in due course. The defending is up by 1, as you know there. The pass is 78 on this year's, is now, so it's up by 1 as well, and his physical is down by 1. So that's Griezmann's card on the new FIFA coming out. So from Griezmann to Thiago Silva from PSG. The cards, again, this is a little bit of a difference here. I don't understand why he's got the same rated card, but then he's an 88 on last year. He's gone up a rating, but the same card. I can't really understand that. That's a bit of a worrying sign there. He's still got the weak foot and skill moves on this one, so there's not really much to really say on that one. As we head into now halfway on the ratings, we go to Luka Modric, number 15. Comparing him from last year's card, he's now up at the 2 on the ratings. Now he's an 89 for the Champions League winner. Comparing stats wise, what's his weak foot like? Let's have a quick look. He's a 4-star weak foot. 4-star weak foot and skill moves 4. So there's no really sort of a change in that department. In terms of his actual final card, his pace is up. So his pace is down by 2, down to a 74. His dribbling is the same. Defending is up by 1. His physical is down by 2. I don't understand why FIFA doing this. 74 shots on last year, 75, so he's up by 1, and his pass is up by 2. It's a bit of a mixed sort of card there he's got, but I actually like Modric. So I don't think that, I personally don't think it'll be a problem with the card. I think he's going to get plenty of inform cards along the way, I should think, this year. Yeah, I think the central midfield is actually quite a good option there. I mean, I would have him in my team any day if I'm building a La Liga team. So that's a good little shout. Maybe a couple stats in terms of the numbers could have been better, especially his physical on the ball. Maybe he could have just maybe upped it to 70, but that's just my opinion. And talking of his teammate, he's number 14, Sergio Ramos. Again, let's have a look at his weak foot. Let's have a look at his stats for against last year's. Now, last year's he had both 3 for skill moves and weak foot, so there's no real change in that department. I'm not going to cover acceleration, sprint, speed, pass. We haven't got that sort of stats to sort of compare, so that's here for another time. But in regards to his card, his pace from last year was 79. Now he's dropped down to a 78. Okay, his defending is 87 from last year, so that still stays the same, so that's good. Physical 81 on last year's, but now is an 83. So I think overall, already just looking at pace, defending and physical, I feel happy with that card. Rating wise, an 89. I would have probably notched him up to an 88, meet halfway, but again, this is what EA's done, so I can't really argue with that. But overall, decent card, so I'll be looking forward to playing with that one. Number 13, we were up to Thibaut Courtois for Chelsea. He was a rated 86 from last year, now he's an 89. I don't understand why they've done this. Okay, 89. Well, if he's 89, it'll be interesting to see what De Gea is going to be like. But following on, his card from last year for dive was an 84, so it's the same, hasn't changed there. Reflexes on last year's card was an 88, now it's up to an 89. Okay, 91 handling on this last year's was 87. So I will be interested to playing with this card, because I've not liked Courtois' card for the last couple of FIFAs now, so it will be interesting to see how his handling is, because that's a big factor for me on I'm playing Ultimate Team, is handling. You've got to have good handling, or at least an average stats. If you haven't got good handling, there's no point, because you're not going to be good in goal. You're just going to keep fumbling the ball. Speed wise, on last year's was 46. This one's a 49 this year's, so it's a big vast improvement there. 69 kick on this year's, last year was 69, so about the same, and position is still the same. So the card hasn't really changed much, it's just the rating and a few tweaks in his handling and his reflex. So it will be an interesting card. Now look, we're moving into the last two. We move on to Mesut Ozil for Arsenal. I'm interested in this card because this card, I'm a big fan of Ozil, so this should be really good. When I compare his rating from last year, first of all, 87 to an 89, with the season he had, in my opinion, I think even a 90 would probably be sufficient on this one. In terms of his key stats of skill moves, it's a 4 on last year. This year is still a 4. Weak foot is still a 2, so again, no changes in that department. In terms of his pass, it's still the same. The dribbling is still the same. The defending is still the same. Shot still the same. His pass is up by 2, which is now an 87 from last year's 85, and his physical has now gone up to a 58. So I think overall I would be impressed with building a BPL team, especially if you're playing a system of a 4-3-3 and you're playing your one cam with your 2 centre mids. That's the guy you need. And the last but not least, number 11 is Sergio Aguero, the main man for Manchester City. Now this card should be interesting to be looking at because his rating is actually an 87 on last year. Now we're on an 89. I probably would have made him a 90. This guy is a beast in front of goal. If you look at his weak foot to last year, let's have a quick look. There's no change in that department. Even the skill moves, I would have made him a 5-star skill moves on him personally. But there you go. Right, let's have a look at the comparison of the cards. 89 pace, so there's no change between the pass or the dribbling, both the same. 88 shot on this year's, so it's up by 1. His defending is still the same. Physical is up by 2, so it was a 68 last year, now a 70, and his pass is dipped. It was now 77 last year, but now it's a 75. But overall, a good card. Will be interesting to be looking at that one. So again, not a bad card. We'll be looking at that. Okay, so we'll be looking at numbers 10 to number 4 on our next video on new ratings with myself, Blitz. Just remember to leave a comment, let us know what your thoughts were behind it, hit that like button, hit that sub, and I'll see you on another video with myself, Blitz. Take care.